All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a really deep theological question, one that sits right at the heart of faith and logic. It goes something like this. If you have a perfect God, and that God creates beings with free will, what's supposed to happen next? What's the inevitable outcome? Let's get into it. So everything we're going to talk about today really hinges on this one big question. I mean, it's the elephant in the room when you talk about free will, right? It's why would a perfect creator, someone who gets everything right, build the option to fail right into the system? Why even grant the freedom to mess things up?
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning of the whole thing. According to the text we're looking at, the creator's master plan wasn't just about, making a universe. No, the point was to create beings that could have a real, genuine relationship with their creator. We're talking about beings that could actually love back. And this is the absolute core of the argument. The text is basically saying that you can't program love. You just can't. A creature that's forced to love isn't really loving at all, is it? It's just a robot following its code. For love to be real, for it to mean anything, it has to be a genuine choice. And that means the option to say no has to be on the table, because that's what makes the yes so powerful.
Okay, this is a really, really important definition to get your head around for the rest of this. The idea of a perfect creature here isn't what you might think. It's not a being that's physically incapable of messing up. No, it's a being that has the total freedom to disobey, but chooses not to. It's about perfecting the will, the choice itself, not just removing the bad options from the menu. And you can see the logical next step here, can't you? A creature with this kind of free will isn't just running on instinct. It's not on autopilot. It needs to understand things. It needs a reason why it should love, or why it should obey. A choice isn't just a reflex, it's a thought process. And that means the creator has to provide a really, really good reason for them to choose the right path. All right, here's the next big piece of the puzzle, and it's a mind bender. To really get why free will is such a paradox, we have to talk about one massive fundamental difference between the creator and the things that were created. And that difference, it's all about time. So just look at this contrast. It's huge. On one hand, you've got God, who exists outside of time. For God, everything, the past, the present, the future, it's all happening right now. But then there's us, the creation. We're completely stuck in time. We live it 1 second at a time in a straight line from what was to what is to what will be. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you're standing on a street corner watching a parade. You only see one float at a time as it passes by, right? But now imagine you're in a helicopter hovering way above the parade route. From up there, you can see the whole thing at once. The first float, the last float, and everything in between. That's kind of the difference. For God, our entire history is like that view from the helicopter. It's all one single moment. But for us, we're stuck down there on the street. Once that float passes us, it's gone. That moment is now in the past, and you can't reach back and change anything about it. It's locked in, set in stone. Our whole experience is just one moment after another, and there's no going back. Okay, so now let's put those two big ideas together. A God who sees everything at once and a creation that experiences everything one tick at a time. This is where the real conflict, the real paradox starts to show up. What happens when you give something as big and timeless as free will to a creature that's completely bound by time? Well, here's the unavoidable trade-off. We already talked about this. If you want real love, you need real choice. And that means you also have to allow for the freedom to reject that love. The freedom to obey has to come with the freedom to disobey. And that opens the door to the possibility of sin, of choosing to go against the Creator's plan. And this is where time suddenly becomes the enemy of perfection. Think about it. If you're a creature living moment by moment, and in every one of those moments there's even a tiny 0.001% chance you'll make the wrong choice, what happens over billions and billions of moments? The odds start to stack up. The source argues that over enough time, a wrong choice isn't just possible, it's statistically inevitable. It's really not a question of if it will happen, but when. So you see the massive theological problem this creates, right? How can you possibly have a perfect creature, remember, one that chooses never to disobey, if the very system you gave them, free will plus time, almost guarantees that they will eventually fail? It starts to feel like the whole thing was designed to break from the very beginning. So, what's the way out of this paradox? How does the Creator solve this?
You can't just take away free will because that defeats the whole purpose of creating something that can love. So, how do you perfect a will when it's under the constant, crushing pressure of time?
Well, the first thing the text makes crystal clear is this. Taking away freedom is completely off the table. It's not an option. Doing that would basically undo the entire reason for creation in the first place. The freedom has to stay. So the solution isn't about restriction, it's about revelation. It's not about building a fence to keep the creature from wandering off. Instead, it's about providing a reason to stay. A reason so powerful, so completely and utterly compelling, that the creature, using its full freedom, makes the choice to align its will with the Creator's, forever. And this, according to the source material, is the ultimate answer. That overwhelming, all-powerful reason is the cross. The text presents it as the ultimate demonstration of God's love for His creation. It's the event that provides the reason powerful enough to allow a free will to be perfected, instead of just being taken away.
So the idea is that by understanding the absolute depth of that love and that sacrifice, the creature's choice is, well, it's transformed. It's no longer a risky moment-by-moment coin flip that's at the mercy of time. Instead, it becomes one single, permanent, and totally free decision to love back. The will isn't canceled. It's freely and forever offered up. And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question to think about, doesn't it? If a choice is made in total freedom, but that choice leads to a perfect and unchangeable state, is it still a free choice? It's a heck of a paradox to mull over. Thanks for joining us on this explainer.